welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a live Manchester United news, transfer news and update show. Ruben Amorim believes he's 6 signings away from getting Manchester United back and taking them to the top. He says 6 signings are needed. Here we go. Kvaratskhelia to PSG. This means the Garnacho exit situation could be heating up as he's Napoli's first choice. But are United willing to sell Garnacho in January? Now, reports coming out from Italy are suggesting that Napoli are going all out. Reports from England are playing it down. But one Italian source has included footage of what is believed to be Garnacho's agent out there discussing with Napoli. The Muppeteers and some credible sources have confirmed that, Garnacho's agent is looking around. United potentially open to selling him, but not a priority. We're going to talk about the latest on Garnacho. My honest opinion is this window is focusing on getting Rashford out and Antony out in the summer. If Amorim doesn't want Garnacho, I'd maybe look at his exit path in the summer, but I wouldn't want to just write Garnacho off just yet. I still think it's too early. I want to give him more time. He's the exciting young talent, but could Garnacho be open to leaving? Who knows? We'll discuss all the news. We'll discuss all the stories, not just in Garnacho news, but United are looking at a young centre-back. The latest on Antony's exit, the latest on Mainoo. Ben Chilwell has been linked back to Manchester United. Please no. Please no. Other news coming in, Ethan Williams heading out to League One. Ethan Wheatley and Ethan Ennis could go out on loan. Not Toby Collier. Harry Amas could be going out on loan, and Dan Gore could be going out on loan as well. 6 signings are way too much for Innis and FFP. What if 6 signings aren't going to come this year? They might come next season as well. But Ruben Amorim believes 6 signings in the next year and a half is what he needs to get United back to the top as well. We're too short up top to consider a Garnacho sale. I'm not keen on selling him anyway. I agree. I'm going to be honest, before I get to the Garnacho news, you have to take it with a pinch of salt because English sources are playing it down. Italian media is playing it up. Italian media do live clicks. But if we're willing to get rid of Rashford, Antony goes before Garnacho for me. I don't want to sell Garnacho in January. I do have question marks over if Garnacho could adapt into more of a 10 and will he suit Amorim's system because Amorim doesn't use traditional wingers. But I like Garnacho. I think if he improves his decision making and elements of his game where I think he's been humbled being on the bench the last few games, I think there's a raw player in there. He's potential, but I think he has potential to be a great player. The bicycle kick he scored, the moments he brought. I think there's good potential in Garnacho, and I think because he's had a few poor months, a lot of people are writing him off, and I'm not ready to write him off just yet. I'd like to see Garnacho at the club for me until the summer and let Ruben Amorim make a decision in the summer. If Ruben Amorim feels long term he's just not going to fit, fair enough, sell, but I wouldn't cut ties with him just yet. But United may be willing to sell Garnacho because it's a player that we could get 60 million for, and 60 million pure FFP profit with the situation we're in. Ineos are going to look at that and think, well, damn, there's an opportunity there. But I don't think Garnacho will be sold in January. But the Kvaratskhelia, here we go. A lot of news coming out suggests that it is a possibility. So we're going to get into the news. We're going to get into the stories. We're going to get into everything. But big up everybody in the chat as well. Garner could possibly work in the system with a dynamic left wing back supporting him. I agree. I think the most likely exit would be Rashford as well. An exceptionally high bid comes in. Yeah, I think he's only really going to be sold if it's a big price. But let's start by talking about 6 transfers to take Manchester United to the top. Before we get into the transfer news, the Mainoo news, the Ben Chilwell news, the Antony news, the Kvaratskhelia news, the Mainoo news, the Rashford news, etc. Ruben Amorim believes it will take 6 transfers to get Manchester United's squad to where he wants to be. He's revealed 6 transfers is what is going to get United to the top. And I agree. 6 transfers could put us in a really good place. Now, this would probably come in the space of the next 2 to 3 transfer windows. But left wing back, for me, we need a left wing back. Kirkers, Mendes, Dorgu are the 3 picks for left wing back. Nori I should have added on there as well. I think a Kirkers or a Mendes at left wing back, brilliant. I spelled Rodrigo wrong, whoops. Left 10, I'm aware Musiala is probably not going to come near United. I'm aware Rodrigo isn't probably going to go near United. But if, let's say, Kirkers comes in, Cunha comes in, Gyökeres comes in, Dibbling comes in, Schlotterbeck comes in, and I don't know, a Belieber or a Stiller comes in, Man United go up absolutely levels. I genuinely believe 6 signings takes this squad up levels because You've got right 10, Ahmad and Bruno that can play right 10 role. Right wing back, Ahmad, Mazraoui, Delo, Garnacho, Diblin could do that. Diblin could also play right 10. There'd be depth there. You know, left centre back, you've got Schlotterbeck, potentially Martinez. You've also got Konki, Lenny Yoro, Delicta Maguire can play central centre back. And right centre back, Mazraoui can play right centre back. Left wing back, you're going to have Kirkes. Maybe you need an Alvaro potentially the backup left wing back if both Shaw and Malacia go, or Delo is essentially the backup left wing back. Midfield, you've got Bruno, Ugarte, Mainoo, and let's say we bring in Belieber, 4 good options for the 2 pivot roles. Left hand, you've got Cunha, potentially Garnacho if he stays. And then up top, you've got maybe Chokerez, and then the other one will be Højlund or Xerxes. I think, 6 signings, would put us in a very good position. And I'm not saying all the names on this list will come to United, and I'm not saying that I want all the names on this list. But here, like, if you just look at examples of the, one of these people in each position, United go up a massive level. I believe that 6 big signings, and I think it would have to be done over this coming summer and the following coming summer to really get it done with the outs and the ins of the PSR. But I think it could take us up a level. But if we just went into if we just went into summer, got a proper left wing back, a proper striker, a proper left 10, and another midfielder for legs, even those 4 signings level us up. And then in the following window, you look at the right wing back, you look at the centre back, you potentially look at the goalkeeper. I think they would massively level us up. MUFC number 7 missing in action. I mean, do you know what the thing is, which is really annoying? I just think if Mason Mount is fit, he has a big part to play in Amorim's system because he suits that left 10 role. Luke Shaw left centre back, Mason Mount left 10. Those 2 players actually suit Ruben Amorim's system, and they actually could do a job if at their best, because they are actually good players. They're just never available, which is why we need to get rid of them. But a fit Luke Shaw and a fit Mason Mount, they're really good assets to have in the squad. And I think that's one of the most frustrating things about it. It's like, if Luke Shaw was fit, if Mason Mount was fit, they actually do level us up a bit. I know Leach has been good the last few games, but he hasn't had his best season. I think Luke Shaw is quite suited to that left centre-back role. He's comfortable defending the wide channels. You've got Mason Mount, who's got the legs, the energy. And I think if you looked at the Newcastle game, for example, if Mason Mount had played instead of Xerxes and maybe Mainoo had played with Casemiro instead of Eriksen, it would have been a different kind of game. Just because of the legs and all of that in midfield. But I completely agree. Alice, what's your thoughts on Delap? I like Delap, but he isn't my first choice. But I put him on the list because David Ornstein has linked us to Delap. I know he's a player that United are looking at. But I want to get through the chat. I want to get through the news and all of that as well. It says 6 transfer windows. It says 6 transfer windows, does it? Oh, have I misread that? Oh, it will take 6 transfer windows. Someone put 6 transfer signings when I first read it, and it says 6 transfer windows. Someone's misquoted it then, because it said 6 transfer signings, and now it's saying, but now 6. I've just checked. It says 6 transfer windows, not 6 transfer signings. I've misread that then. But when I read it earlier, someone had wrote it out as 6 transfer signings, but then the one that I've copied and pasted in says 6 transfer windows. So it's not 6 transfer signings, it's 6 transfer windows. So I've messed that up. I've had a stinker. I've had a stinker at the start of this live stream. 6 transfer windows. I've had an absolute stinker at the start of this live stream, haven't I? I've been talking about 6 signings, and it now says 6 transfer windows. When I first read it, it said 6 signings, and I found another report, and it said 6 windows. I've had an absolute stinker there. I've been talking about 6 signings, and Ruben Amorim thinking 6 signings is good. He needs 6 signings, but it says it's 6 transfer windows. She's had a stinker. 6 windows is crazy. 6 windows is crazy. 6 signings makes more sense. When I read this earlier, it said 6 signings. I tell you this now, it said 6 signings. I then go up, get the notes, put it in here so I get the notes on screen, and now it says 6 windows. So it's either 6 signings or 6 windows, but it now says 6 windows on it. But it did say 6 signings when I first read it, which is probably why I've just misread over the windows bit. 6 transfer windows is too many. 1 is now, which we're not getting anyone. 2 is the summer, that you can get 4 or 5 signings. 3 is January, don't expect much. 4 is the next summer. 4 transfer windows to me does the job. If you get the ins and the outs, you could do it in 4 transfer windows. 6, 6 transfer windows is a joke. Well, Alice is completely messed up at the beginning of the live stream because she can't read. She can't read today. But 6 transfer windows makes no sense. See, in fairness to me, 6 signings makes more sense. People saying simple mistake. I just kept seeing loads of chats, Alice 6 transfer windows. Yeah, can't read that. I did mean Rodrigo. So we've had a mare because I spot Rodrigo wrong. And I've misread 6 transfer windows to 6 signings, but 6 signings makes more sense. I think 6 signings gets United back to the top. Not 6 windows. But anyway, let's ignore this story because it's messing with me. When I first read it, someone had quoted it as 6 signings. I'll tell you that for sure. It's now been quoted as 6 windows. These were my picks for the 6 signings. I think 6 signings levels us up a lot, and I will stick by that. Even if it now says 6 windows, I think 6 signings takes us up a level. But let's dive into stories on Marcus Rashford, Garnacho, PSR, sales, and forget all about that. So, Manchester United rivals are ready to pounce on a January deal for Kobbie Mainoo, Alejandro Garnacho, and Marcus Rashford, is what was said by Mike McGrath. They anticipate Sir Jim Ratcliffe will want to avoid frantic PSR sales on the 30th of June to stay within financial rules. Now, interestingly, Manchester United are actually fine right now in terms of PSR. We are staying in financial rules right now, so it's not like we're going to have to do desperation sales. Now, out of those 3 names, Mainoo, Garnacho, Rashford is the most likely to go. Rashford could go in this window. Between Mainoo and Garnacho is more likely to go. Okay? Mainoo you'd probably get the most money for, but Garnacho's more likely to go. Now, I don't think Mainoo will go. I think Garnacho potentially could go if Jim Ratcliffe is looking at PSR sales, but again, I don't see Garnacho going to the summer, despite reports. Mainoo, I don't see leaving Man United. Even with PSR, this and that, I just don't see the benefit of selling Mainoo, especially now he's getting better and better, and he looks key to Amorim's system as well. We do need 6 buys for a proper squad going forward anyway, 100% as well. There'll be a riot if he sold Kobbie. If we sell Mainoo, Garnacho types, Ineos are turning us into Southampton. Yeah, look, I understand if Amorim says, you know what, Garnacho long term, he doesn't fit my system. He's a traditional winger. I use number 10s, and they then look to sell Garnacho because they know he's not maybe the ideal profile for Amorim. I get that. But if we were selling Garnacho and Mainoo and every other product we made, then that's when it is a cause for concern. Rashford will go. Garnacho maybe, but I'd be very surprised if they sold Mainoo, and I think it would go down very badly if they did sell Mainoo as well. Yeah. So let's see. Now, obviously, Antony is who we want to get rid of. Before we even look at getting rid of Garnacho, they want Antony out of the club before anyone else because he's not good enough. Like, let's be brutal. He had a few good cameos at wing back, but we just know he's not good enough. Real Betis have interest in Antony on loan, but they want Man United to pay more than half of his 200k a week wages. United are hoping for more clubs to come on the table. The problem with Antony is he's been so poor these last 2.5 seasons that we may have to pay over 100k a week for him to go out on loan, just so he can hopefully have a good loan spell where we can get his price up. Like, we're in that kind of position with Antony because Rashford has loads of clubs wanting him. Even if it's on loan with big wages, there's loads of clubs out there wanting Rashford. Garnacho, loads of clubs will be willing to pay up for him, and he's not on big wages, it's doable. But Antony's difficult because he's not good enough. He's not been good at all, and he's on huge wages. You know, Marcus Rashford 2 seasons ago was scoring 30 goals. A lot of people rate Rashford. Not many people rate Antony. So getting Antony out is going to be difficult. But Real Betis is the only possibility right now. But there is talk of us getting rid of Antony in January. And I will say this. If Rashford goes in January, which is looking more likely the case, David Ornstein believes it will be the case that Rashford will leave in January, then I don't believe that we sell Garnacho. If Rashford goes in January, I just don't see Garnacho going in January. Even if Napoli pay up big money, I don't see it happening, especially if they're working on getting rid of Antony. But a loan is the only option for Antony as well. I would say 60 million is a fair price for Garnacho. I think 60 million is a good price because of how young he is. Some people say 50. I would push for 60 with Man United, and maybe you get 55 million plus add-ons. Kai Havertz went for 65 million. I think you can get 60 million for Garnacho. I do. Some people think 40, 50. I think you can get 60 million for Garnacho. I think that's a fair price for Garnacho. 60 million. When you look at the winger market, you know, people want 100 million for Rafael Leao. I think 60 million is a good price, especially with his wages and everything. You know, we paid 85 million for Antony. We paid 80 million for Jadon Sancho. The winger market ain't cheap. So I'd look at 60 million if I had to put a price on Garnacho. But let's talk about the Garnacho news, because Kvaratskhelia, so PSG, here we go. Deal sealed today and planned between the two clubs. Transfer fee will be in excess of 70 million euros as per RMC Sport. 5-year contract for Kvaratskhelia. Story revealed here last week, now confirmed. So, Kvaratskhelia to PSG, £60 million signing. Here we go. Boom, 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 boom. Which means Garnacho to Napoli has just gone. Like, there's so much that we're going to get into now about Garnacho to Napoli, this, Garnacho to Napoli, that. Garnacho to Napoli, the whole case, the whole story is massively heating up. In terms of what's come out. And there's some people even claiming that they've seen Garnacho's agent in talks with Napoli sporting directors, this and that. People put in the chat that Colin is close to Juventus move. Apparently so. We're going to talk about that in a second. Don't worry, I'll give you the latest on that. Look, Garnacho works. He is young and he does what Amorim loves. He attacks the middle and he already has 2 assists. He's good, says Jow. I think he's been hit and miss since Amorim's come in, but I think the last 2 games he was good. And I think people are forgetting how young Garnacho is. It's normal for him to have a poor month or 2, especially when the whole squad is underperforming. And that actually, we need to give Garnacho from now until the end of the season and let Ruben Amorim make a judgment on him, because I think if Rashford's going, then Antony needs to be the next winger out. And then we maybe consider getting rid of Garnacho if Ruben Amorim in the summer feels that there's better options out there. But I agree with you. I'm not interested in getting rid of Garnacho in January. I wouldn't entertain it. Rashford's going, Antony's going, keep Garnacho. In the summer, let Ruben Amorim make a decision, back Ruben Amorim. That would put Garnacho at the same value as Kvaratskhelia, but that's because Kvaratskhelia has less time left on his contract, so Napoli sort of are in a weaker position, where we're in a stronger position with Garnacho. Lower wages, more time on his contract. That's why I think we could get 60 million for Garnacho. Garnacho assisted 2 times the last 2 games and no one talks about it. Ruben also said he doesn't want to sell young talent if Ghana can develop as a 10. Yeah, also you've got to remember, Garnacho is so young, he could be developed in a player for Ruben Amorim. If Amorim decides in the summer that he's willing to offload Garnacho to bring in a Cunha and a Gyökeres, fair enough. It's something that Ineos may do. But considering that Antony and Rashford need to go first, I'm not putting Garnacho on my first sale list. I think he's young. I think we have to compare him to other 20-year-olds, as Alex B says. I think for his age, considering he's thrown in an unstable environment, I think, yes, he's been poor the last 2 months, but I thought last season he was really impressive. And I think we're so reactionary as a fan base. All right, he's had 3 bad months, so we want him out. But actually, he was quite good last season. And you have to remember his age in the context of things, 100%. But over the past few weeks, Garnacho's agents and representatives have been thinking about the player's future, and it is up to Garnacho, apparently. Now, there's no credible outlet saying that Garnacho's considering leaving United. I'm going to say this. The Muppets have said, look, Garnacho's agent has been looking around. There's talk that he's not 100% safe, that Ineos could sell him, and Napoli are interested in him. So it has been confirmed. Garnacho's agent is out there, and he is looking around. But the decision if Garnacho leaves Man United or not, right now, is probably in Garnacho's hands, because Man United don't want to sell Garnacho in January if they're going to lose Rashford and there's not many replacements on the market. The only players we've been linked to as replacements are Colin and a young winger. You don't replace Rashford and Garnacho with them, especially when Mount's out for ages and we're lacking goals. So then Garnacho's agents have been out there. They've been thinking about the player's future, but it's up to Garnacho. Now, not one credible source has said once that Garnacho is thinking of leaving. So as of now, I don't think Garnacho's plan is to leave Manchester United. I think he's had 2 good games in a row. Let's keep fighting. Let's keep working. Let's get back to his best. It was said that Napoli is serious about signing Garnacho and they want to complete the deal as soon as possible. And Garnacho was the man chosen by Conte to replace Kvaratskhelia. And apparently McTominay has been in contact with Garnacho about a move to Man United, about a move from Man United to Napoli. So there's definitely something going on between Garnacho and Napoli in terms of Garnacho's agents and Napoli in discussions. But we don't know if Garnacho wants to make that move. According to Calcio Napoli, Napoli sporting director Giovanni Manna was pictured arriving in Rome after holding talks with the entourage of Alejandro Garnacho in Barcelona. Who knows if that's true or not? But it has said that United haven't received any formal approaches for Garnacho. We got news coming out 2 days ago that there'd been a bid for Garnacho. Apparently that was not the case. That's not true. There hasn't been a bid. So English media is playing it down a bit. But Napoli are there. Napoli are interested in Garnacho. Here we go for Kvaratskhelia. Napoli now have the money to go out for Garnacho. Man United would be willing to sell Garnacho for the right price. If Napoli offer that right price, Man United could be open to Garnacho's sale. But even if Man United are open to Garnacho's sale, that decision is up to Alejandro Garnacho. I think right now, because Rashford's probably going to get out the door and they want to get rid of Antony, unless a big offer comes in for Garnacho that's probably above United's asking offer, like 70 million, I don't see United saying yes to Garnacho's sale because we're limited in attack and we need him. And it's very early days for a young player that back in summer was seen as one of the untouchable players. That's what I think. Garnacho needs to get his head down, work his socks off. The talent is there now. We need consistency. I agree. Can we win the FA Cup? I think we can. I'd like to win the Europa League this year if I had to pick a trophy as well. Rashford would suit Napoli. He suits Conte. But interestingly, I wouldn't be shocked, and this is just a hear me out shout. I wouldn't be shocked if while in negotiations for Garnacho, Man United maybe tempt them into getting Rashford instead, because Man United want to offload Rashford. They're not looking to actively offload Garnacho. It's more about opportunities and funds coming in. United open to offloading Rashford, but they're not looking to offload Garnacho, sorry. So maybe United have conversations with Napoli and convince them to go for Rashford, because I think Rashford would suit Napoli. Who knows? But Antonio Conte is all in on Garnacho. Garnacho is his number one choice. He really wants Garnacho, but it's up to Garnacho, and it's up to how much Napoli pay, because Man United are only going to accept something big. I don't see Garnacho moving. If I'm going to be honest. It's been an unstable environment at the club for years. Can't fully judge our young gems exactly. I don't see it happening unless a huge bid comes in and Garnacho wants to go. I don't see it happening, to be honest. But Napoli clearly want him, and Napoli could make moves to him. In terms of other news, there is a few more stories I want to get into and dive into. It was said by Chris Wheeler that United will look at a younger centre-back with potential rather than pay big money for a ready-made replacement like Everton's Branthwaite, and that United are unlikely to entertain offers for Garnacho this month. So, again, United probably not that interested in selling Garnacho this month, as I said. But they said that we're looking at younger centre-backs, which is interesting because we've got Godball Kokonki. We either want a centre-back that's ready now, like a Luca Bar, or we just go and develop Kokonki. I don't think we need to bring in a 19-year-old centre-back. And as Robbo said here, we have a pair of young centre-backs in Kokonki and Armour who acquire every trait that you want, but deserve time to develop behind the scenes, which is true. But yeah, Branthwaite has 22 of 103 appearances. You won't get that combination of age and top level. And I agree. I don't want us signing some relatively unknown 19-year-old centre-back. I want us either going for someone with a bit of experience that can play left centre-back that's instantly going to improve us, or we play the patient approach with Kokonki. Kokonki's clearly rated. So I don't get the idea of looking at a young centre-back. I think you need someone that's ready now, or you put the faith in Kokonki. I agree. As Alex said, we need more ready-made signings. It's not like we're top of the table. That's why we've walked away from the likes of Naipan and Rig and Franco Mastantuono, because while we like those players, United want the budget to go on players that are ready now. Exactly, we've got Euro. We've got Euro for the future, and he's quality now. But if we're talking another centre-back, I'm talking Luca Bar. Euro is great. Luca Bar would be great, because for me, I don't want to bring in another Euro and it stop the development of Kokonki. I'm happy to bring in the left centre-back if it's a top player. I'm happy to bring in someone like Hato. But if United rate Kokonki as high as they say they do, I don't think bringing in a young left centre-back is that much of a priority. I don't think it's that much of a priority. Hato could be really good because he played as left-back for Ajax, so he could do a job in the left centre-back role. But I don't think I think we need a left centre-back, but I think we have to be careful because we have to think of Kokonki and what that future could be. Because I really rate Kokonki. But we do need a centre-back. Another centre-back we've been linked to is Ousmane Diamonde. In reference to recent reports suggesting United are targeting a younger centre-back with potential, there's long-standing interest in Ousmane Diamonde, who's worked under Ruben Amorim at Sporting. Now, Diamonde was linked to Arsenal, Man United. A lot of clubs in the summer didn't get that move. Very good young centre-back. But I do think we need someone for the left-hand side, which sounds weird because Martinez has been good the last 2 games and Kokonki could come through on the left-hand side. But I think the left side of defence is weaker than the right side, even though we've got Kokonki. And I'm very happy to see how this guy does and put a bit of faith in him. I think we need that left centre-back to really make sure that if Leach is poor, we can have someone more physical and like Luca Bar, maybe even a Hato, a Hincapie, a Schlotterbeck. I don't want us going for a left centre-back that isn't like a mass improvement. Luca Bubba cost a fortune. He would. That's the big problem as well. Might be costly, but Barca's Ario, yeah. I mean, there's lots of good centre backs out there. Lazio have fired the club's Falconer after he. Oh wow, is that actually a true story? Someone said Ahmed is free from Ten Haram. Is that actually a true story? You're trolling me. Someone's put a story, and I'm not going to read it out. I started reading it out, but I don't know if that's true. I don't know if you're trolling me there. What was I saying? Yeah, Man United and centre backs. We've got 2 young centre backs in the academy. If we sign a centre back, I want them to be ready made. I don't want us signing too many youth players unless it's in a position where we're quite good. Do you know what I mean? And like they can develop. So like Euro, for example, you've got De Ligt and Mazraoui that can play right centre back, central centre back, and Maguire. But he's also unbelievable for 18. Like, if we're signing young players, I want them to be players that are starting, not players based off potential. Players that, Lenny Euro was starting week in, week out for Lille. So I think we need ready-made signings because, as we mentioned upon earlier, we're not that good at the moment. We need someone that's going to come in the first team and level us up. We need a striker that is going to level us up. That is a proper ready-made striker because we've got young players. We need a Marcus Rashford replacement that is a 20-goal player that's going to level us up. We need a left wing back that is ready to attack and level us up. That's what we need. We need another midfielder with legs. I like Chris Rigg, but he's someone that be on the bench here and there. I like Naipan, but he's not going to come in and level us up. And I think United have realised that and they've moved away from that. And I think the same needs to be applied at centre-back. We need players that are ready now because we're not good enough now. We have been linked to Inacio. Yes, we have. Apparently we made a bid for Inacio, but no one reliable followed up on that as well. Ruben Amorim needs more leaders. I agree. Going through DMs important. Yeah, because Castamere and Ericsson are both going to leave. We're definitely going to have to sign a midfielder if those 2 leave. Cunha's definitely the one. For me, my dream transfer window is Cunha and Gyökeres for left-hand and striker, Schlotterbeck for left centre-back or Lukabar, left wing-back Kirkes or Mendes, midfielder I'd like Stiller, right wing-back I'd like Dibbling. That would be my dream one as well. Delo's red cards apply in the Premier. Delo's out of the Southampton game due to red card. Apparently, we're looking at a goalkeeper. I think that's more of a 2026 thing to do than 2025. I think we've got bigger areas to look at. But Manchester United are among those sides eyeing Parma goalkeeper Suzuki, who's now rated at 40 million. It's crazy because we almost signed him for 5 million a few years ago. So trust us to get him for 40 million. It's like with Casado. There's so many players we sign or nearly sign for like 4 million and then they're 40, 50 million pound plus later on. A player United looked at, Kolo Muani, is unlikely. Juventus are currently in pole position to sign Kolo Muani. Last week, Tottenham thought they were close to signing him, but they're really trying for him. But United aren't pushing as hard as those 2 clubs. So Tottenham are trying to move him away from Juventus. It was also said that Tottenham and Juventus have submitted offers for United target Kolo Muani, and PSG are not rushing because they're aware more offers could come their way before they make a decision on his future. So we're still in the race for Kolo Muani, but it looks like we're not really that bothered. And someone said that Jim Ratcliffe wants to move away from short-term loans and actually bring in someone that's permanent and bring in someone that's good rather than someone for the sake of it, which sort of makes sense there. But then this doesn't make sense if United are assessing Ben Chilwell. Don't do it. Please don't. He's not attacking. He doesn't suit Amorim's system. He's on huge wages and he's always injured. So it's just someone to spend time with Luke Shaw in the injury room. Do not bring in Ben Chilwell. He's not the kind of left wing back we want. He's been linked to us, but hopefully that doesn't happen because it makes no sense. And United are hopeful of agreeing a new contract with Kobbie Mainoo sooner rather than later. It's expected that by the start of next season, he'll be tied down to a big new deal. There is obviously rumours of Kobbie Mainoo leaving, this and that, but I think it's agent talk and scaremongering and tactics to get Kobbie Mainoo the new deal he wants. I think Kobbie Mainoo will sign a new deal at United, and I think his future will be in good hands. But yeah, big no to Ben Chilwell. I can't see us getting Ben Chilwell. I'd be shocked if we did. We've made some bad moves in the goalkeeper department the last couple of years. Yeah, Bayendir over Suzuki. That's an example of it. I don't know if Suzuki rejected us though because he wanted regular game time. But it would have been nice to have seen Suzuki as well. Graham Bailey gets things wrong. You can check for yourself. Yeah, Graham Bailey, by the way, is not tier 1. I'll tell you that. He's not the most reliable source of information. But yeah, Cunha would be unreal. Gyökeres would be unreal as well. But yeah, Big up everybody in the chat. Big up everyone for tuning into today's live show. Dorgles is definitely one to watch. Maybe if Rashford leaves, we could hear some more news on that because we're definitely watching him. But we haven't made any official moves for Dorgles yet. There should be some announcements on Rashford's exit in the next few days. It's set to advance, but who knows? People have been saying that for weeks now and nothing's happened. But Garnacho is one to watch. These next 48 hours for Garnacho is massive because it's either United aren't selling the stance is clear, Napoli can't get Garnacho, or something could heat up. But there's no indication that Garnacho himself wants to leave United. Listen, people, thank you for watching today's live show. It's a quick live show. Sorry for my mess up at the beginning of the show. I can't read at the moment. Big up, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye.